Hello everyone, welcome to the session on greedy technique. So where in this particular technique of greedy, so we'll discussing a few set of problems like Prim's algorithm, Dijkstra's algorithm, Hoffman code, etc., etc., etc. So before discussing these problem, so obviously one should know what is a greedy technique is. Greedy technique in the sense at that particular moment, what is the best, what's the best decision, or what is the best solution. Choosing of that, we call it as a greedy concept. And obviously, at that moment, what we choose, obviously, that decision or that solution will always lead us to get the solution for your global problem. I mean to say that in a simple way, the solution or the decision that we made locally will always leads us the solution to the global problem. So this particular concept, we call it as a greedy technique. A very good example is your change making problem. For example, a cashier wants to give some change for you. Let us assume that he wants to give a change of rupees 45. So he is having a denomination of 10 rupees, 20 rupees, and 5 rupees. And he has to deliver a change of 45 rupees. Suppose if he is having greedy concept in his mind, definitely will going to deliver a change as 20 rupees, 2 notes, and then 5 rupees, 1 note or a coin. So in total, this will going to yield with us a change of 45 rupees. Suppose if he is not following a greedy concept, so what he can do is he could have given a change of for 5 rupees, 5 into 9 coins, that is 45, or 10 rupees, 4 notes, and then 5 rupees, 1 coin or a note. Okay, suppose if he is following strictly the greedy concept, so definitely he will going to give the change in this manner, not like so 10 rupees 4 notes, 5 rupees 1, no, or 5 rupees 9 coins or a note, no, it doesn't give like that. Even our ATM machine is also adapting the concept of advanced greedy technique. Suppose if you want to take a change of or an amount of 4,500 rupees, how that will going to deliver the amount for us? Let us assume that it is having a denomination of 2,500 and 100. In that particular scenario, obviously it will going to throw us 2,000 denomination notes to, and then sometimes it provides a change, right? So that is why I'm calling it as advanced greedy, right? Instead of throwing 500 rupees, 1 note, what it does is, so obviously the customers needs with a change. For the smaller denominations, so it will going to throw with a 100 rupees change. So it doesn't throw 500 rupees. So it will going to throw set 100 rupees 5 denominations. In total, it will going to be 4,500. Or else, suppose let us assume that we don't have this 2,000 denomination. In that scenario, so obviously we're going to get with 500, 8 notes. We don't get with 9 notes if it is advanced greedy, right? So they how they have optimized is, at least we need to provide a change for the lower denomination 1. So what they do is 8 500 notes, so that's equivalent to 4,000, and then for remaining 500, so they will going to give us a change of 100 rupees, and that's equivalent to 500. So this is how the ATM machine will going to throw an amount to us. Even that is also adapting a concept of greedy, not just the greedy. So we are making some optimize to fulfill the requirement of the customer. So that's why that particular concept, what we adapt in the ATM machine, we call it as a advanced grid. Okay. Again, I'll go to give a simple definition of a greedy technique. So at that moment, that means locally, what's the best decision or the best solution we're going to get? So I can use the same solution or the decision to find the solution globally. Okay. So that particular concept, we call it as a greedy technique. So under this, as I already mentioned, that there are a lot of algorithms like Prim's algorithm, Dijkstra's algorithm, Huffman code, etc., etc. Again, here also, these algorithms are meant for solving certain specific problems. For example, I just wanted to discuss in today's session the Prim's algorithm. So basically, this Prim's algorithm is a greedy technique that meant for determining a minimum spanning tree for a given weighted undirected graph. So you'll be given with a weighted undirected graph. So for that weighted undirected graph, I'm supposed to determine a spanning tree by the concept of greedy algorithm. I mean to say that, so at that moment, what looks the best? So using that concept, I am trying to address this particular problem, that is minimum spanning tree. The addressing of this problem, we call it as a Prim's algorithm. So obviously, it was initially developed by a CISC mathematician Wojtek Jarnik, and later it was rediscovered and published by computer scientist Robert C. Prim in 1957, and later by Dijkstra in 1959. Even Dijkstra's algorithm and Prim's algorithm, they look similar. Both adapt the same type of concept, or both adapt the same type of technique for solving the desired problem. Prim's algorithm is meant for solving a minimum spanning tree, and Dijkstra's algorithm is meant for determining a single source shortest path. Both these are adapting your greedy concept. And later on, they used to call these algorithms as Prim-Jarnik algorithm or Prim-Dijkstra's algorithm. Like in different names, they used to call this particular algorithm. Okay. Let us discuss in detail regarding your Prim's algorithm. First, I should know what is a spanning tree. Basically, as I mentioned, that Prim's algorithm is meant for determining minimum spanning tree. I should know what exactly the spanning tree is. So spanning tree in the sense, it's a subgraph T of undirected graph G, which contains a set of vertices V and a set of edges E. It's a spanning tree of G if a tree that consists every vertex of G. In a simple way, if I want to say, spanning tree in the sense for a given graph, for a given undirected graph G, is nothing but there should not be any cycle formation in that particular graph. Plus, I'm supposed to visit all the vertices of the given graph. So this is your given graph G, which has a vertex set V, capital V, and edge set E. Okay, so totally there are 5 vertices, and the number of edges is also 5 here. So I can get with a different variations of spanning tree. See this, spanning tree 1. This is also a spanning tree. See this. There is no cycle formation here. Okay, the first constraint has been satisfied. The second constraint is I'm visiting, I can able to visit all the vertices. Yes, this is a spanning tree. See, the same graph I have written in a different form. There is no cycle formation. Even there is no cycle formation, and all the vertices have been visited here. So even this is also a spanning tree. And this one, no cycle formation, and all the vertices are visited. A simple definition of your spanning tree is The first thing is there should not be any cycle formation in the given graph. And the another constraint is all the vertices should have to be visited once. So this is the definition of your term spanning tree. See this. Yeah. So this is one graph. So I can have different variations of this spanning tree. Even this is also a spanning tree, 2 variations, 3 variations, 4 variations. And this is another graph. One, see this, the different variation. I can get with 8 different variations for this graph. And for this combination, see this. I can get with many number of forms. All these are spanning tree. There is no cycle formation and all the vertices are visited. See this, even this is also a spanning tree for this given graph. So I can able to visit all the vertices and there is no cycle formation. Okay. So this is what the definition of your spanning tree. Weighted graph. A weighted graph is a graph in which each edge is associated with some weight. See this. This is a given graph. So each and every edge is associated with some weight. So this normally we call it as a weighted graph. So as I already mentioned that Prim's algorithm is meant for not just the spanning tree, it is meant for determining the minimum spanning tree. So here, among the different variations of the spanning tree, I am supposed to get with a minimum cost spanning tree. So minimum spanning tree is an undirected connected weight graph. It's a spanning tree with a minimum weight. For this weighted graph, I have different variations of this spanning tree, right? So for these different variations, I can, if I count the weight in the sense, I should make the summation of these edges. 10 plus 9, 19, 19 plus 32, 42, 51, 51 plus 23, 74. Count these edges. For this spanning tree, this is also a spanning tree for this given graph. And if I count the edges cost, that is weight, so this will come somewhere around 71. The same way for this, the weight will going to be 70. So I'm supposed to estimate the minimum cost spanning tree among the different variations that are available for a given undirected weighted graph. So I'm supposed to consider the spanning tree whose cost is minimum. And that particular tree, we call it as a minimum spanning tree. This is a minimum spanning tree among all the different variations that we generated for a given weighted graph. Different variations in the sense we can able to come across with the different variations of spanning tree. Among those different variations, if you just summation the weight of those spanning tree costs, the one which yields with a minimum weight, so that particular tree normally we call it as a minimum spanning tree. So your Prim's algorithm is meant for determining this minimum cost spanning tree. So that too with the concept of your greedy. So MST stands for minimum spanning tree. Given a connected weighted undirected graph G, so the input for this particular problem is they have given a connected weighted undirected graph G. Design an algorithm that outputs minimum cost spanning tree for the given graph G. How to find this minimum cost spanning tree? So in this greedy algorithm itself, or in this greedy technique, so we have two main algorithms. One is Kruskal algorithm and another one is your Prim's algorithm. Both are meant for determining the minimum cost spanning tree. So in the upcoming sessions, we'll be concentrating on a Kruskal algorithm, but in today's session, we'll be concentrating only on the Prim's algorithm. Both these algorithms are meant for determining the minimum cost spanning tree. But in today's session, we'll be concentrating on the Prim's algorithm. So the generic concept behind in determining the minimum cost spanning tree. Given graph G and its associated weight. Okay. So initially we need to start with an empty graph and try to add edges one at a time, always making sure that what is built remains acyclic. So as I already mentioned that in the case of the spanning tree, this should not be cycle formation. So not a cycle formation in the sense it should be a acyclic. Acyclic in the sense there is no cycle formation. So gives us an idea how to grow the minimum spanning tree. And edge U is safe for A. That is, I need to keep on considering each of the edges. Okay, if it is safe, if there is no cycle formation, and if it is yielding with optimal one, so keep on adding that particular edge over there. This is just a generic idea. So it's not a Prim's algorithm. So this is the concept behind in determining the minimum cost spanning tree. I don't think this is at this moment it is of much important. It is out of scope at this particular moment. Okay, let me go directly with your Prim's algorithm. So this is the algorithm for determining the minimum cost spanning tree by using your Prim's algorithm. So the input for this is a given graph G, where the weight is associated to that, and R. So this R is nothing but a root node. You need to choose this root node randomly. Okay. R can be any node. So which should have to be chosen randomly. So normally what we do is, so we're going to prefer the root node as your R value. So initially I'm doing some initialization over here. For each edge U belongs to your vertex set capital V for your given graph G. That means for all your vertices of your given graph G, I'm considering one array called as key array. Those values should be initialized with a value infinity. I'm considering the key value for all the vertices of a given graph. I'm supposed to initialize with a value infinity. This is pi. Pi of all these vertices should be initialized to value nil. Pi in the sense, it's nothing but parent of the current node, which is a parent node of the current node. Okay, so when I'm explaining the problem, I'll give you much more clarity regarding this pi value. Okay, so initially it is nil. After coming out of this for loop, the root node key value should be initialized to a value 0. So initially, I will initialize all the vertices value as infinity. And later, after coming out of your for loop, I'm initializing only your root node key value as 0. Okay. And I'm considering all your vertices, capital V in the sense, all the vertices of a given graph G should be assigned to the set Q. Q is nothing but a set, or you can call it as a array, Q array, where I can construct this Q array as a minimum priority queue based on your key attribute. It's a minimum priority queue, right? So based on this key value, I'll explain this again at a later stage. So this is what the initialization I do. Key of R is initialized to 0, and key Q will going to be a queue, a minimum priority queue. So based on your key attribute value, so where it will be initialized with your vertices capital V. I should be in this loop until this queue is not empty. Initially, before entering into this while loop, Q contain all the vertices of your given graph G. Okay, and later on some steps should have to be repeated, extracting the minimum from your Q. Q in the sense is nothing but a minimum priority queue based on the key attribute, this attribute. That means I should sort. So your vertices should have to be sort based on this attribute value key. So in that the minimum should have to be fetched. So that you can call it as a U. And for that, what are the adjacent vertices? For U, the adjacent vertices should have to be fetched. Okay. So, and that adjacent vertices should be a part of your minimum priority queue Q. It should belongs to Q. And suppose the weight between those two vertices U to V. So U in the sense is nothing but the extracted minimum vertex from your minimum priority queue Q. If that weight, that is from U to V, V is nothing but adjacent of your U. If this weight, if it is lesser than your key value, which you have considered, so then pi of V, so that means we are getting this V from your U value. That means for V, this is the parent node. And then this weight should have to be updated to your key value only if this weight is lesser than your key value. So I consider some key value initially, that is infinity, a larger value. And between the two vertices, some weight I'll get. If that is lesser than this, so these two updations should have to be done. Repeat this process, right? So when Q is empty, come out of this while loop. So where you get this spanning tree? I can get this spanning tree in this last slide. You can see here. I should exclude your root node or your root vertex. So I should consider your remaining vertex. So your spanning tree edges will going to be V comma V of pi. That is excluding your root vertex. Consider the remaining vertex. So that vertex and its parent. So that parent will going to be stored in your pi vector. So we get it from your V of pi. So that you make the construction. Okay, so final minimum spanning tree edges. So we'll get it over here and keep on adding those weight costs. So that itself will going to be the minimum cost spanning tree weight. Okay, we'll see. So this is an example. So as I already mentioned that for your Prim's algorithm, so we are supposed to consider a weighted. Each and every edge is associated with some weight, right? Undirected, no directed edges, undirected graph. This is the graph I consider. So on the left hand side, you can see the algorithm. So I did some initialization. First 3 steps. It's an initialization to your key vector. All the vertices, U in the sense is nothing but all your vertices of your given graph G. So here in this case, so your vertices are varying from A to I, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Your U is varying from A to I. Key value. All these vertices key value is initialized with infinity with the help of this. And then one more vector, pi. Pi of these vertices will be initialized to a value nil. Okay. So after the execution of these first 3 steps, so this is what the initialization that will going to happen for your key vector as well as for your pi vector. So just I represented a 2-dimensional array. It's not a 2-dimensional array. It's 2 independent 1-dimensional arrays. So key is also 1-dimensional array. Pi is also another 1-dimensional array. After that, a root node. I'll be considering your vertex A as a root node. Okay. So that vertex key value should be initialized to a value of 0. See this. After step 4, key value of your node A will be initialized to 0. Q, as I already mentioned that all the vertices of your given graph G should be a part of your minimum priority queue, Q. So this is Q. I consider all the vertices of your given graph G, that is from A to I. This is after step 5. So these 5 steps, so whatever we call it as initialization, so this I represented over here for this given graph. Okay. Now A is empty, right? We have considered one more vector called as A. So this is empty. We'll see it how exactly that A will going to work later on. Okay. Now this is before step 6, the same thing. What we had this, I consider over here. Key, except for your vertex A, that is for root node. For everything, it's infinity. And this pi value is nil for all the vertices. Q, I consider all your vertices, and A is empty. This is the status before executing step 6. From 6 to 11, here we have. I consider U is equal to A. How I got this U is equal to A? U is not empty. See this. Is it empty? No, it's not empty. So we have some 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 vertices we have. It's not empty. Your Q is not empty. Enter into your while loop. U is equal to extract minimum from your Q. That is from your priority queue Q. So this priority queue is based on your key attribute. I mean to say that. So these are the vertices that is available on your queue. So in this, which is having a minimum key value. This is 0. For the rest of it is infinity. Infinity is a larger value. Only for vertex A, we have a minimum value. So obviously, this will going to fetch a vertex value A. A will be assigned to your U. So that's why U will be initialized with A. Next, for each V belongs to adjacent of U. So U is A. So the adjacent vertices. So the adjacent vertices are B and H. So this is adjacent vertex. Even I can call this as V. This is U. Even this is V. Okay. If these V, these adjacent vertices, they should be a part of your Q. That means they are part of your Q set. Yes, they are. B and H, they are available here. Okay. And weight from U to V. What's the weight from U to V? 4. If it is lesser than key of V, what's the key value of your V? Initially it was infinity. Key of B. Key of B, it's infinity. Yes, this 4 is lesser than your infinity. So what I'm supposed to do, this key value, that means this vertex V key value should have to be changed. So key value of this vertex V should have to be changed to the cost, H cost from U to V, that is 4. See this. Key value of B will be initialized with 4. See this change. After executing step 6 to 11, when U is equal to A. And meanwhile, this pi value, pi of V is B. Pi of B will going to be A, that is U. See this change. Meanwhile, there's one more adjacent vertex, H. See this. Even this H is a part of your Q set Q. Weight U comma V. Weight U comma V is 8. 8 less than key value of H. Key value of H is infinity. So this 8 lesser than infinity. So make the changes. Pi of V is equal to A. See this change. And key value of this H will going to be H cost from U to V. That is from A to H. That is 8. And after that, So this A will be moved to your A. See, it has been removed from your priority queue Q, and then it will be moved to your set A or to the queue A. Okay, so I mean to say that, so further I should not consider your vertex A. Finish. So I'm supposed to consider this remaining vertex. Repeat this operation. Again, while Q is not empty, we have these vertices. It's not empty. Do U is equal to extract the minimum from your Q set, from your minimum Q, minimum priority queue. Among this, except your A, among this, choose a vertex which is having a minimum key value. So excluding this A, among the remaining vertices, which is having the minimum key value, this is 4, infinity, 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 8, infinity. I should not consider A again, right? It has been done. So I should choose your P value. So U is equal to B. So I can show this in your next stage. So say step 6 to 11 for U is equal to B. So this is the status of Q before using U is equal to B, the previous one. When U is equal to B, B's adjacent vertices. What are the B's adjacent vertices? So we have C, we have H, and we have E. These are the 3 vertices. Okay, let me consider in any order. If I want to consider A first, here this A, this adjacent vertex, it does not belong to your Q. What does this Q contains? Other than A, remaining vertex it contains. Here itself the condition fails for your A adjacent vertex of your B. Correct? See this. B is U and A is adjacent vertex. This is U, the VR, this is the one V, this is the another V, and this is the third V. Okay, so I consider A first. If I go it in order, I can consider A first. So the condition is, so that A should belong to Q, but this is not. It doesn't belong to this Q, so no need of entering into this if condition. Next, that is why do nothing. Next, C, V is equal to C. See this condition. Obviously, that C belongs to your Q, and weight from U to V. Weight from U to V, 8. 8 lesser than key of V. V in the sense it's C. Key of C. What is key of C? It's infinity. 8 lesser than infinity. So we need to update these values. That's the pi value as well as a key value. Okay, corresponding to your V. That is C. So you can see the changes here. Pi value has been changed to B and key value has been changed to 8. Next, H. This one, right? H, this condition holds good. So it's a part of your minimum priority queue, Q. Weight, U to V, 8. 8. What is H? H cost. What is H cost? It's already 8. No change. Only if it is lesser, you should update this. It's not lesser, no change corresponding to your H. Nothing. Okay. So this is the steps of execution. That means this is what the status it will going to be after executing the step 6 to 11 for U is equal to B. And then B will be pushed to your A, and in your Q, other than A and B, will be left out with the remaining vertex. Okay. Next. This is the status of Q before using U is equal to B. Next, repeat the procedure. Q is not empty. Yes, Q is not empty. So there should be B here. same thing. Yeah. Status of Q before using U is equal to C. A, B is in A, other than A, B, so remaining vertices will going to be there in your Q. Okay. So next, from these available vertices, the Q is not empty. Among these vertices, pick the vertices whose key value is minimum. Among C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I think among this, the minimum value is for C and H, it's same. They are the minimum one. Let me go in order. I'll choose C. So U is equal to C. So this will going to be the U value. Okay. The adjacent vertices. This is the adjacent one. This is the adjacent. 4 adjacent vertices we have. So no need of considering this. Why? Because this is not part of your Q. So this condition fails. Correct? I should concentrate only on these three. Sorry, these three: D, I, and F. I, F, and D. Go with this. If W, U, V, weight from C to D, 7. Okay, I think for this. C to D, 7. If it is lesser than key value of V, key value of D is infinity. Yes, it is lesser. Update this value. So key value of D will be updated to 7. Phi value of D will be updated to 7. And next, F. So the condition holds good. Again, there will be updation. Even for F, the key value will be 4 and phi value will going to be C. Meanwhile, V is equal to I. See this change. Yes, the condition holds good. Key value will be 2 and phi value will be C. Okay. After that, that C will be moved to your set A and that will be removed from your Q. Next, the same step. Okay. Repeat the procedure. So now the minimum value among these, I think I will be the minimum value among D, E, F, G, H, and I. So choose U is equal to I. So U will going to be I value. It's adjacent vertex. This you need not to consider. So C, nothing. The other two adjacent vertices are G and H. I think this needs a change. So we have updated for your H as well as G. And even its parent, that is pi value, is also been updated here. Okay. See this. Next, U is equal to F. From the available D, E, F, G, H, among this, which is the minimum key value, D 7, E infinity, F 4, G 6, H 7, the minimum one. So it will going to be F. Okay, choose that as your U. And its adjacent vertex. I think we have 4 adjacent vertex for your F. This is nothing. No need of doing with this because it's already become considered. Okay, so we should consider the remaining 3 vertices. One is D, E, and G. D, E, and G. I think for D, I don't think this condition holds good. So doing nothing. E and G, its cost should has to be updated. E and G. And move that one, move that F to here. Move that F to here, and that should be removed from your Q. You left out with 4. Repeat it. The same way, minimum, and its adjacent. G will be considered. Next H, and next D, E, and finally, even this E will be moved to this, and your Q is empty. When this Q is empty, we need to come out. So finally, we got this A vector. That means all the vertices we have considered. And finally, we left out this key vector as well as your pi vector. With the support of this, I am supposed to write, so which are the spanning tree edges are. See this. I got these values. So the edges will going to be, I'll write it here. B to A, B to A, this is the edge. C to B, go it in order, no issue. You should not consider A. I should leave out this root node. So if you just go to your previous slides in the algorithm, so I discussed that I should not consider the root vertex. Other than this, I should consider the remaining vertex. So B to A, that's the one edge. C to B, this is another edge. D to C, the third one. E to D, E, where is E? E to D, yes. E to D. F to C. G to F. H to G. H. I to C. So I visited all the vertices and there is no cycle formation in this red marked edges, right? So make a summation of this. 4 plus 8, 12, 12 plus 7, 19, 19 plus 9, 28, 28 plus 14, 42, 42 plus 4, 46, 46 plus 2, 48, 48 plus 1, 49, plus 2, 51. So the minimum cost spanning tree cost is going to be 51. And these are the edges we need to consider. So this is how you are supposed to make the construction of your span. So to explain this, yeah, even the analysis if I want to do, right? So this initialization part. So I'm traversing among your n number of vertices. So big O of V, right? If Q is implemented as minimum heap. And then while Q is not empty. So here in this case, I'm considering all the vertices, right? All the vertices and plus, so its edges, okay? All edges are will consider E and that will be multiplied by logarithmic V. So here in this case, in this partly this lower part, so I'm considering this vertices logarithmic type, right? And here it is big O of V, and here this operation will going to take logarithm of V. And finally, if I took up for the summation, so obviously the time complexity will going to be E. E in the sense number of edges into logarithmic of n number of points. So this is the time complexity. I just want to take one simple example to make this illustration. Let me take one simple screen. In a short manner, the same concept. I just wanted to consider a simple example over here. I'll consider with 5 vertices. A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. Some edges, edge, 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 edge. And obviously, I need to consider the weight as well as the vertices value. This is A. A, B, this is C, this is D, and this is E. The weight for this, it will be 12, 7, 6, 5, 2, 3, 1. So I want to apply your Prim's algorithm to determine a minimum cost spanning tree. So we're considering two parameters for each and every vertices. The first parameter was your key value, and the second parameter was your phi value, right? So each and every vertices used to consider those values. Okay. So I'm considering those values. So I think that you have seen in the initialization. Okay. So all key values initially will be initialized to infinity and then nil. Infinity, nil. Infinity, nil. Infinity, nil. Infinity. Nil. And after that, I make your root node key value as 0. So which is the root node here? I'm considering your vertex A as your root node. Okay, I'll make this value as 0. Okay, so remaining key value, vertices key value will be infinity. I consider this. Okay, why I consider this? Because in your queue, I used to have all your vertices. That is A, B, C, D, E. Among this queue, I'm supposed to pick up a vertices whose key value is minimum, right? This is 0, infinity, infinity, infinity. I think A is minimum. I should choose this, right? Its adjacent vertex. If I say this as U, its adjacent vertices will be, this is B, this B, and this will be the another B. I should update this adjacent vertices key value. So 12, this U to V cost is 12. 12 lesser than infinity. Yes, it is. Change this infinity to 12. This one, 6. 6 lesser than infinity. Yes, it is. Change this value to 6. This cost is 7. 7 lesser than infinity. Yes, change this value to 7. And you can mark this as, that means I used to consider this into another vector A. That means, so nothing doing this particular vertex in future. It's blocked. So I used to remove this A from this queue, and that has to be pushed to your A. Repeat the process. Among the available vertices of your queue, choose a vertex which is having a minimum key value among B, C, D, and E. B is 12, C is infinity, D is 6, and E is 7, which is minimum. This is the minimum one. I'm supposed to choose this, correct? So now, this is U. It's adjacent vertices which are there in your queue. I should not consider A because it's not there in your queue. It's already been removed. I should consider B, C, as well as E. This is one V, this is another V, and this is the third V. Their key value, oh sorry, even the parent was supposed to be updated. So I did not make the updation. In the previous case, the parent was supposed to be A. This is also A. And this was also A. Correct? Now, this is the minimum one. Its adjacent vertex B, C, and E. Its key value, if it is lesser, then it should be updated. Let me consider B. This cost is 2 from U to V, 2. 2 lesser than this. Yes, lesser. Change this value to 2, and it has come through D. Two comma D. And this one, this is 1. 1 lesser than infinity. Yes. It has came via D. Change this value 1 comma D. This one 5. 5 lesser than this. Yes. Change this one 5 comma D. So remove this D from this. Push into your A. We left out with B, C, and A. Among this B, C, and E, B's key value is 2, C's key value is 1, and E's key value is 5. Minimum 1. See, consider this. Because its key value is 1. Okay. It's adjacent, which are part of your queue. It's only B. A and D, they are not part of your queue. Only this one. This is 3. From this, if I say this is U, if I say this is U, this is the only V we have. Okay, 3 lesser than this. No change with respect to this, right? So remove this C from your queue, push it over here. Okay. Next, available vertices are B and E. The minimum one, B. This is U now. For this V, we don't have the V, which are part of this capital Q. It's only E, but it's not adjacent to this. No change here. Okay. So now B should have to be removed from this, pushed over here. Left out with E. Consider this. For this, the adjacent vertices which are part of this Q, we don't have. Even remove that from your Q, push into your A. Okay. So now you see A, B, C, D, E. For A, the key value 0 and pi value is null. This is key. And this is pi value. For B, it's 2 and D. For C, it's 1 and D. For D, it's 6 and A. For E, it's 5 and D. I'm supposed to know the edges. So the edges will going to be, we should exclude this part. Okay, I should consider excluding your root node. Root node is A. B to D. C to D. I should consider this. This is one edge. C to D. This is another one. D to A. This is another one. E to D. This one. Okay, for this graph, so these are the edges of your spanning tree. See, there is no cycle formation. And even I visited all the vertices. You just add up this weight. 5 plus 6, 11, 11 plus 2, 13, 13 plus 1, 14. So minimum spanning tree will going to be 4. Okay. So even we adapt the same concepts in your Dijkstra's algorithm. If you are clear with this, I think you can easily able to solve your Dijkstra's algorithm. And this is about your determining a minimum cost spanning tree by using your Prim's algorithm. Thank you.